Hey, before we get started, I want you to notice something. What's the last thing you said to yourself about yourself? Not what you said to someone else, not what you posted online, but what did you say in your own mind, or maybe even out loud? Was it kind? Was it nice? Or was it critical? Now, here's something even more important. Did you know that the way you think and speak to yourself doesn't just affect your mood, it actually affects your body, your stress levels, your sleep, your energy, even your ability to heal? Because your brain is always listening and your body is always responding. So if your thoughts sound like, I can't handle this, I'm not good enough, I always mess everything up, your body reacts as if something's wrong, even if everything around you is actually fine. But what if you could change that? What if small shifts about what you say out loud, the things you focus on, could actually change how you feel, both mentally and physically? Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about that. The real science behind positive thinking, how your thoughts affect your health, what you say out loud, and how it has so much power than you ever imagined. And we're going to have some real life tools like gratitude, mindfulness, and even something simple as complimenting somebody you don't know. And I'm also going to share some personal stories because I've been on the other side of this. Constant negative self-talk, saying things out loud that made everything feel heavier, even without me realizing it. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck in your own thoughts, or just exhausted mentally and physically, this episode is for you. So take a breath, get comfortable, and let's talk about how changing your thoughts can start changing your life. A special thank you to Often Insurance for sponsoring the Your Daily Dose podcast. Farming is unpredictable. Your insurance shouldn't be. With generations of agricultural experience, Often Crop Insurance helps farmers protect their crops, their operations, and their future with personalized coverage and trusted service. Visit ofteninsurance.com to learn more. Often Insurance, protecting farms for generations. Special thanks to Brian Daly, Realtor with Miller Grant & Company, for supporting the Your Daily Dose podcast. After living in Central Florida for 10 years, Brian has combined a background in construction with a passion for helping people find the right place to call home. Having recently gone through the buying and selling process himself, Brian understands how important the right guidance can be. If you're thinking about buying or selling, connect with Brian Daly today. Email him at brian.daly@millergrantandco.com or call 919-222-0893. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Your Daily Dose podcast. I'm really glad you're here. Genuinely, I'm glad. Because whether you're driving, cleaning, working, or just taking a moment for yourself, I'm really grateful you chose to spend this time with me. So this episode feels really important because, like many that you'll hear from me, it's personal. We're talking about positive thinking, but not in that cliche surface level way. Not the just be happy, don't worry about it kind of thing. We're going deeper than that. We're talking about how your thoughts affect your mental health, really how they affect your physical health, and how the way you speak to yourself, especially out loud, can literally shape your reality. And I want to be honest with you right from the start. There was a time where I was constantly talking negatively to myself. And not just in my head. I was saying it out loud too. Things like, I'm so bad at this. I always mess everything up. Why am I like this? And I didn't realize how often I was doing it. It was just automatic. But over time, I started noticing how heavy that felt, how it affected my mood, my energy, even how I showed up for other people. And that's really what this episode is all about, becoming aware and then slowly changing that. We're also going to talk about mindfulness, gratitude, which is going to be a big focus and some real life ways to actually apply this. So, this isn't just information, this is something you can actually use. So, let's start here. Your thoughts matter more than you think they do because they're not just passing ideas, they're shaping your experience in real time. And for a long time, I didn't even realize how negative my self talk was. It was just automatic, constant, and honestly, kind of mean. I would say things to myself that I would never say to someone else, especially someone that I cared about. And one day I caught myself doing it out loud. And that's when it really hit me. Because when you say something out loud, it feels different. It feels more real, more powerful. And I realized I wasn't just thinking negatively, I was speaking it into existence. And that's a real thing. This is something I really want to slow down on because it changed things for me. What you say out loud to yourself and to others has power. When you say things like, I'm so stressed, I can't handle this, I'm terrible at this, you're reinforcing that belief. You're giving it weight. You're making it louder. One of the first changes I made was pretty simple. I stopped saying negative things about myself out loud. Even if I still thought them, and I did, I refused to say them out loud. And that one shift alone made a big difference because it created a pause, a moment where I could choose something different. Instead of, I can't do this, I'd say, this is hard, but I'll figure it out. And instead of, I'm so bad at this, I'd say something like, I'm still learning. I didn't feel like it was very natural at first, but over time, it started to feel true. So let's reflect a little bit. Your words shape your reality, not in a magical way, but in a psychological, emotional, and even physical way. All right, let's get into it. Let's slow this down a little and really talk about what's happening in your body because this part is so important. And honestly, it's something I didn't fully understand until I experienced it myself. This isn't just mindset, this is your health. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment where you were just thinking about something stressful, like replaying a conversation in your mind or worrying about something that's coming up and suddenly your body reacts. Your heart rate picks up. Your chest feels tight, your shoulders tense. Nothing's actually happening in that moment, but your body reacts as it is. That's not random. That's your nervous system doing its job. Your body has this built in system called the stress response. Sometimes you'll hear it called fight or flight. It's designed to protect you. So, if there's a real threat, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate increases, your breathing changes, your muscles tighten, you become alert, and that's a good thing in the right situation. But here's the problem your body doesn't always know the difference between I'm in danger and I'm thinking about something stressful. So if your thoughts are constantly negative, anxious, or overwhelming, your body stays in that stress response, not for a moment, but all day. And over time, that starts to affect your health in very real ways. We're talking about things like chronic fatigue, poor sleep or trouble sleeping, trouble falling asleep, muscle tension, especially in your neck, shoulders, and jaw, headaches, digestive issues, increased blood pressure, and even your immune system will take a hit. Because when your body is in constant stress mode, it's not focused on things like resting, recovering, healing. It's focused on survival. And I didn't realize this was happening to me for a long time. I just thought, I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. This is just how life feels for me. But when I really looked at it, it was my thoughts. I was always mentally preparing for the worst, running through scenarios in my head, overthinking conversations, assuming stress before it ever even happened. And my body followed that pattern. I felt tense all the time. My shoulders were tight, my breathing was shallow, even when nothing major was going on. And here's the thing, it became my normal because I was so used to it. But when I started changing how I talked to myself, even just a little, I saw things started to shift. Not overnight, but gradually. I noticed I wasn't as tense all the time. I could actually take a deep breath without feeling tight. I wasn't reacting instantly to everything. I had a little more space between something happening and my response. And that's important. It's your nervous system. It's your nervous system calming down. That's your body moving out of that constant stress state. There's actually another side to your nervous system. It's called the rest and digest state. This is where your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, your body relaxes, and your body repairs and recovers. And the way you think can help you move into that state more often. So, when we talk about positive thinking, mindfulness, gratitude, things like that, we're not just talking about feeling better. We're talking about helping your body function the way it's supposed to. So, if you're someone who feels constantly tired, always tense, easily overwhelmed, I want you to consider this. It might not just be what's happening around you, it might be what's happening inside your mind. And the good news is that can change, not all at once, not perfectly, but little by little. And your body will notice even before you do. I want to spend more time here because if there's one part of this entire episode that can truly change your life, it's this: gratitude. Not as a quick habit, not as something you check off a list, but as a way of seeing your life. Gratitude isn't just saying thank you, it's the ability to recognize what's good, what's present, what's already here, even when life isn't perfect. Research shows that gratitude is strongly connected to happiness, better health, and emotional well being. People who actually practice gratitude consistently tend to feel more positive in their emotions, their sleep, how they handle stress. And I love this idea. Gratitude helps you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, because most of us are wired the opposite way. Your brain is designed to find problems. It's always scanning for what's wrong, what could go wrong. That's survival. But gratitude, that's intentional. And when you practice it, you're literally retraining your brain. Studies show that gratitude can do all of these things. It increases dopamine and serotonin. It reduces your stress response. It improves your emotional regulation. So that's not just mindset, it's biology. I'll be honest, gratitude didn't come naturally to me because when you're used to negative self talk, your mind's already focused on what's wrong. So even when good things were happening, I wasn't really seeing them, or I'd brush them off like that doesn't really count. But when I started practicing gratitude, it felt forced at first, I'll be honest, like I was going through the motions, but I stayed with it. And slowly, something changed. I started noticing things I used to miss. A calm moment in the middle of the day, laughing with my daughter, just being present even for a second. And those moments started to matter. Here's something really important. Gratitude doesn't mean your life is easy. It means you're able to find something good even when things are hard. Research highlights that even when only small parts of a situation are positive, focusing on those can still improve your emotional experience. So it's not about ignoring the hard, it's about not letting the hard be the only thing you see. Gratitude also changes how you connect with people, it strengthens your relationships. It creates what researchers call a positive feedback loop, where appreciation leads to more connection, more support, and more positive interactions. So think about it. When you genuinely appreciate someone, you treat them differently. They feel it and they respond differently, and that energy builds. Let's talk about how to actually practice this, but in a real way, not just surface level. Instead of just listing things like, I'm grateful for my house, go a little deeper. Why does that matter to you? What does it provide for you? How does it make you feel? Because gratitude isn't just a list, it's a feeling. And our feelings are powerful. Here are a few ways to make this real in your life. Number one is the pause and notice method. So during your day, just pause and ask, what's good right now, even if it's small? Then we've got the hard moment reframe. This is when something stressful happens and you ask yourself, what can I still appreciate here? Maybe it's a lesson, support from someone, or just the fact that you're getting through it. And then there's gratitude with detail. Don't just say, I'm grateful for my family. Say, I'm grateful for that moment we laughed together today. Make it specific, make it real. And then the next one is say it out loud. This connects to what we talked about earlier. Just like negative words have power, so do positive ones. Tell someone, I appreciate you. And say it to yourself. I'm proud of how I handled that because speaking gratitude out loud reinforces it. This is where gratitude becomes really powerful when life feels overwhelming. And I speak from experience. You don't need to fix everything, you just need something to hold on to, even one thing. And this connects to something I shared earlier. Having something to look forward to, because that's a form of gratitude too. It's appreciating something that's coming up. So if I know I have a really stressful week ahead, I'll focus on something ahead of me. Maybe going to a theme park with my family, spending a day with my daughter, maybe even a trip that we have, an upcoming trip we have planned. And when things feel heavy, I remind myself that's coming. And that shifts my mindset. It gives me perspective, it gives me energy. Here's the truth: gratitude isn't something you do once a day, it's something you practice all day. It's how you see your life, how you talk to yourself, how you talk to others, how you experience moments, and over time, it becomes natural. So let me ask you something. What's one thing in your life right now that you might be overlooking? Something small, something ordinary, something that if it were gone, you'd miss it. That's where gratitude lives. Recently, my parents had a plumbing issue in their home. And so for 2 days, they had to go without water. And I remember my mom telling me about it. And then she said, you forget how important it is that every time you turn on a faucet, water runs out. You forget how important taking a shower is and how wonderful that is. So it's the very same thing. This is one of my favorite mindset shifts, having something to look forward to, because life gets busy, stressful, overwhelming. And when you have something ahead of you, it changes how you move through the present. If I know I have a really stressful week coming up, I'll focus on something ahead. You do not have to be positive all the time. That's not realistic. It's okay to feel stressed, upset, overwhelmed. The goal isn't to eliminate those feelings, it's to not stay stuck in them. Okay, I want to share something with you that is super simple, but also backed by real research. And I love this because it's not complicated. It's something you can actually do. It's called the 3 good things exercise. This has actually been used in healthcare settings, including Duke University and Duke Health, especially with their doctors, nurses, and staff who were dealing with high stress and burnout. So, this isn't just a feel good idea, this is something that's been studied in real medical environments. Here's how it works: at the end of your day, you write down 3 things that went well, 3 good things. That's it. But there's one important part that makes this really powerful. Also, write why they went well. So instead of just saying, I had a good day with my daughter, you might say, I had a really nice moment with my daughter today because I slowed down, put my phone away, and was fully present with her. See the difference? And here's what's really interesting. Our brains are naturally wired to focus on the negative. It's a survival mechanism, but this exercise interrupts that pattern. It trains your brain to start noticing the good. So, studies have shown that people who do this exercise, even for just a week, start to feel happier and more positive. And when people continue it for a few weeks, they've actually seen increased happiness, decreased symptoms of depression, reduced burnout, even in high stress environments like hospitals. There was even research done with healthcare workers where they used this exact exercise and it helped reduce burnout, which is huge because burnout isn't just mental, it affects your energy, your sleep, your immune system, your overall health. And here's something else I love about this, it's not that more good things suddenly start happening in your life, it's that you start recognizing them more. And that changes your entire experience throughout the day. Instead of your brain replaying what went wrong, it starts remembering what went right for your list that night. And I want to be real with you. At first, this can feel a little forced, like you're searching for things, but that's actually part of the process because you're training your brain. So here's how I'd recommend doing it. At night, before bed, take 2 or 3 minutes and write down one thing that went well, another thing that went well, one more thing, even if it's small. And then ask yourself, why did this happen? And they don't have to be big things. It could be, I had a good cup of coffee this morning. Wow, that's a wonderful one. Someone smiled at me. I got through a busy day. Those things count and they matter. And honestly, this connects so much to what I've shared earlier. Because when I was constantly thinking negatively, I wasn't noticing any of the good. It was there all along. I just wasn't seeing it. So if you take one thing from this episode, try this just for a week, 3 good things, and see what happens. Because sometimes it's not about changing your whole life, it's about changing what you pay attention to. Now I want to shift and I want to talk about something that seems really small but can actually have a huge impact. And that's taking the time to sincerely compliment someone, especially someone you don't even know. Because let's be honest, most of us think kind things about people all the time. We notice, oh, I love her outfit, or his energy seems so positive, or she lights up a room, but we don't say it. We keep it to ourselves, sometimes because we're in a rush, but other times I think it's because we don't want to feel awkward. But what if it's not weird? What if it's not awkward and it's exactly what someone needed to hear? I had a moment like this that I'll never forget. My family and I were walking into a store recently, and in the parking lot, we noticed this woman. She was just striking, beautiful, but also just really cool looking. You could tell that she had this confidence and uniqueness about her, and we all kind of noticed it at the same time. Well, we walked inside the store and we actually saw her again. And this is where something really special happened. My husband stopped and he said to her, we noticed you in the parking lot and you are beautiful. And then I added, we were just saying you have to be a really cool person. And her reaction, she just lit up, like completely beamed. And then she got a little emotional, like she was tearing up and she thanked us for taking the time to tell her that. Just a few moments. And it didn't stop there. As we kept walking through the store, another woman, someone we did not know at all, came out from between the racks, gave me a high five, and said, thank you. Thank you for being kind. Thank you for taking the time to say what you did to that woman. And we ended up having this really quick, real moment of connection, talking about how much we all need that sometimes, that little boost, that reminder. And it really stuck with me because it made me realize we all crave that. We all need to feel seen. We all need to feel appreciated, but we hold back because we're afraid. So let me flip the script on you a little bit. Recently, I was in a ladies' restroom and I had this little black workout dress on. I was coming around to wash my hands. A lady stopped me and she said, "Where did you get that outfit? That is the cutest little dress. And I love the scallops on the back. It looks great on you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And like it literally changed how I felt about the rest of the day. Like that little boost of confidence from someone who didn't know me, didn't do that to make me feel good. It really was powerful. But we hold back. We think, will this be weird? Will they think I'm strange? But what if instead it makes someone's day? What if it's exactly what they needed to hear in that moment? And what if that one act of kindness makes a huge difference in their entire day and really outlook on life? And it doesn't have to be something big. Sometimes I'll just tell someone, "I love your outfit," or "Your hair looks amazing," or "You have such a great energy." Simple things, but sincere. Because just like we talked about earlier, words have power. And when you choose to use your words to lift someone up, that matters. So here's something I want to challenge you to try out. Over the next few days, compliment someone you don't know. One person a day. It could be quick, it could be simple, but make it genuine. And just watch what happens. Watch how they react. Watch how they respond. Watch how it makes you feel. And watch how it shifts the energy around you. Because sometimes something that takes you 10 seconds to say can stay with someone for a really long time. If you take anything from this episode, let it be this: your thoughts matter, your words matter, especially the ones you say out loud, because they don't just stay in your mind, they shape how you feel. They shape how you respond to life, and they shape what's happening inside your body. The way you think day after day affects your mental health. It affects your stress levels, your anxiety, your outlook on life, but it also affects your physical health in ways you don't even realize. When your thoughts are constantly negative, critical, or stressful, your body responds. It stays in that stress state. Your cortisol levels stay elevated, your muscles stay tense, your sleep can suffer, your immune system is actually depleted. It doesn't function the way it should. And over time, that just wears you down. But the opposite's also true. When you begin to shift your thoughts, even in small ways, when you practice gratitude, when you speak to yourself with more patience and kindness, when you create moments of calm and presence, your body responds to that too. Your nervous system starts to settle down. Your breathing slows down. Your body moves into a state where it can actually rest, repair itself, recover from the day, and even heal. And I want to be really clear about something. This isn't about being positive all the time. It's not about ignoring hard things or pretending everything is perfect. Life is still going to be stressful sometimes. There are going to be hard days, hard seasons. But this is about balance. It's about becoming aware of your thoughts and choosing when you can shift them to a healthier direction. Because I've lived the other side of this constant negative self talk, saying things out loud that made everything feel heavier. And I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until I started changing it. And it didn't happen all at once. It started small, one thought, one pause, one moment where I chose not to say something negative out loud. One moment of gratitude, even if it felt forced at first. One deep breath, one kind word to myself or to someone else. And those small moments, they add up. They start to shift how you feel, how you react, how your body carries the stress. So start small. One thought, one moment, one thing you're grateful for, and build from there. One thing my family and I do that I'd love to share with you is we do try to look for the good, even in situations that are really frustrating. So, we live in a major city. There's a lot of traffic. One way we keep from being so stressed out over the traffic or delays or, reroutes, can't go where you need to go the way you planned, we now say, oh, well, we were sent the other way to avoid an accident, or we went this other way. So we even look at our delays in a positive way, that maybe that delay is protection. Maybe that delay is something that we should be thankful for. The other thing we try to do is look for the positive even in a bad situation. I love years ago, I worked in a very stressful, difficult situation. And when I look back at that time, I think that was really hard. But then I start thinking about all the lessons I learned, the strength that I gained as a leader, the friendships of the people I worked with. And when I do that, I become really thankful for those hard, stressful years. And one of the things that we do, even with my husband Brian's health and our journey there, and I do it as a caregiver, is he and I will always focus on the positive. Like the weeks that we stayed in the hospital, we would focus on how kind our nurses were, or how good a meal was, or how thoughtful it was that someone came to visit. And the other thing is, we would just be thankful every day that he was still with us. Sometimes, especially for those who are dealing with chronic illness, injuries, things like that, it becomes really hard, and that's real. But we have to focus on the positive. We have to focus on what we've been given. And so I love going back to that quote earlier in the podcast of us not looking for what we lack, but looking at what we have. We always think, well, I would love to have this, or I wish it were this way. Sometimes we become so focused on what we don't have that we don't appreciate what's right in front of us, the things, the people, the experiences. So I thank you for being here today. Seriously, I really thank you for your time. It means more than you probably realize. If this episode meant something to you, if it made a difference, if it made you think differently or feel even just a little bit lighter, share it with someone, because you never know who might need to hear this message. And before you go, just take a second. Think of one thing you're grateful for, something simple, and hold on to it. I'll see you next time.